Today in the excitement and against the backdrop of Rio de Janeiro, the Confederations Cup provides an unimaginable matchup. The setting, the reconstructed Maracana, a temple of the sport. It features today perhaps the best team to ever play, Spain. The European and world champions will make many changes in their lineup today, but profess respect for their most unlikely opponent, Tahiti. They have one professional player, Marama Vaharua, but Tahiti have scored here, making good on their promise to bring the heart of a lion. At a stadium rich in history, this a spectacle of the possible. Tahiti against the champions of the world. As we welcome you this day once again to our Confederations Cup headquarters, this sounds like a matchup contrived on the back of a cocktail napkin at a late hour indeed. But it is true, Spain and Tahiti, Steve McManaman, Alexi Lalas, Bob Lee, on the same week, Alexi, that they win the Under-21 European Championship. Spain trots out a second 11 in the Confederations Cup that could probably get to the World Cup semifinals.
Spain's good. They're going to score a bunch of goals. Someone just asked me on Twitter, is it classless or disrespectful for Spain to run up the score? No, you score and you keep scoring. I actually think it's more disrespectful to just keep the ball and not try to score goals. I think they respect the game. I think they respect themselves. And I do think that they respect Tahiti if they score and they just keep on scoring.
10 of the 11 that Spain will start today finished among the top 4 in either England, Spain, or Germany.
Awful, isn't it? And we've got people like Javi Martinez, Bob, who've just won the Champions League. They won the league in Germany. He won the treble in Germany. One of the players of this season. He can't even get into this first team, so it's nice to see him. He played a small part in the first game. He's in here, but absolutely packed. This is the game, the team from the Uruguay game, and they've made, and you can see they've made so many changes. The only person into the team is Sergio Ramos because they're struggling for a centre defender. But look at the talent around that team. Goal scorers galore, people who are playing, who are worth £300 million. I mean, just packed full of talent.
127 international goals in the B team today for Spain.
The B team,
right.
yes.
And here come Tahiti. They got a goal, and they scored, and they said, I'm bringing the heart of a lion, but here they go with essentially the same lineup.
Yeah, and Vaharua actually was, I thought he was excellent in the first game against Nigeria. Yes, they were defensively naive, but when they've got the passion of the Tahitian nation behind them, and they got the goal the other day, a huge weight has been lifted off the shoulders because they've scored this goal, and they're going to thoroughly enjoy this game today. That's what it's all about for this team. Enjoy this experience because it'll never happen again.
That goal, though, it was a moment, Alexi, of national Tahitian history. How did it happen?
Well, set pieces, I scream and yell about set pieces all the time. Doesn't matter who you are, they're very, very important. And for Tahiti, it was an opportunity, and they took advantage of it. Vaharua with the corner kick, and in it goes. And we're going to stop it right there. First things first, let's use our magnifier over here, because that's kind of a cool thing. That's the ball right there, okay? It's cruising along, and we're going to turn it off, and then we're going to go over here to this guy here. Here comes the trajectory. Now, keep in mind, this is in the box. Tahiti sent 4 guys up against 8 from Nigeria, and yet they still score a goal. And why do they do it? Good coaching and players knowing their roles. Teja, over here, this is the man that's going to score a goal. 1, 2, 3, 4 Nigerian defenders not marking anybody. The ball is where it needs to be. Set pieces are the only time in soccer where you can set things up, and exactly what happened that the coach wanted to happen happened, and when that happens, goals happen and celebrations happen. Awesome celebration. This could possibly be a way for Tahiti to score against Spain. But in order to get a set piece, you got to get fouled, and you got to get the ball. So we'll see what happens today.
Yeah, it's going to be a day of aspiration once again for Tahiti. They scored once. We showed you how it happened. Can they score on Juan Mata's Spain team? Remember, goal differential could be very important for the Spaniards in this group. It's coming up.
A game that contributes to one of FIFA's mission statements: touch the world, take football to every corner of the planet. They have touched Tahiti, and its story has been heard, and it has touched us all. As their coach said, they play for more than 250 million amateur players around the world. As they face the world and European champions, Spain, alongside Alejandro Moreno, Fernando Palomo, with you. They exchange gifts. The traditional Polynesian shell necklace being handed over to the Spanish players by the Tahitian side. Alejandro, it's a game of the giant against the minnow.
It certainly is, Fernando. There's no other way around it. And for Spain, this becomes an interesting test of discipline and professionalism. While facing clearly an inferior team, Spain will look to maintain a high standard of play, highlighted by their passing, player rotation, interchange with and without the ball, while possessing with a purpose.
It's an event in the history of Tahitian sport as they face Spain in nearly sold-out Maracana, playing Spain, a team from the Oceania Confederation, for only the second time in history. They played against Tahiti in the 2009 Under-20 World Cup. Azpilicueta started that game for Spain, as he does this one. Only Sergio Ramos features again in the lineup for Vicente Del Bosque. Two of the three top scorers in the history of Spanish national team play this afternoon, as Jamil Hamouri from Algeria will be our referee. The first time an Algerian has refereed in a Confederations Cup match. Last time a referee from Algeria refereed an official FIFA match was in 2002, a World Cup encounter between Spain and Slovenia. Tahiti, 137 spots down in the FIFA World Rankings. They make two changes from the side that lost 6-1 to Nigeria last Monday. Former Monaco reserves player Michael Roche in goal, one of 5 AS Dragon players in the starting 11. It's Vicente Del Bosque in our screen. Eddie Etatia, 43-year-old, hired in 2010 to guide the Tahiti national side. David Villa, the all-time leading scorer in the Spanish national team. 2 places down in that list is Fernando Torres, and they both start with Jonathan Tejao, the only ever scorer for Tahiti in a FIFA official match. Plays in a back line of 3 for Eddie Etache. Again, 2 changes made from that side. Andres Iniesta sits down this one for Spain. Alongside the Barcelona magician is Iker Casillas, who gives up his side in the lineup for Pepe Reina to start in goal for Spain. Here's the Liverpool keeper. Another change for the Tahitians was Michael Roach coming in place of Xavier Saman. Almost ready to kick off here in historic Maracanã, where Spain makes its way back 63 years after they last set foot on this stadium. That team was identified as La Furia, the Spanish Fury, where character and determination prevailed, as it did so for decades. Now back as a team so good, maybe only the likes of Maracanã can lay claim to have seen a better team before them. Tahiti moving the ball and quickly giving it away. Second group game for both. Spain beating Uruguay in the opener 2-1. Tahiti losing 6-1 to Nigeria. As the Tahitians have been adopted by the home fans, they won't walk alone. On the pitch of Maracanã, David Silva. Azpilicueta for Santi Cazorla. Javi Martinez. Nacho Monreal, the Arsenal left back. As Javi Martinez playing it to Raúl Albiol. Azpilicueta again. Cazorla. Tahiti sitting tight, and offsides is David Villa. Pushing the back line way forward is Tahiti in the first minute of play.
When early on you see Tahiti right away with numbers behind the ball, trying to make the field compact, trying to cut out passing windows for Spain, and trying to make the field as tight as you possibly can so you don't allow Spain to get into a rhythm.
Arama Vairua, the only professional in this Polynesian side, gave it away. Here's Michael Roche, 30-year-old keeper from AS Dragon. Team that has won the last two. Tahitian leagues. Sergio Ramos back for Pepe Reina. Here's Juan Mata, the two-time player of the year at Chelsea. Silva. Torres making a run. 2 minutes gone by, still 0-0.
For Tahiti, Fernando, this is an opportunity to play against the very best, and they have everything to gain from this game, nothing to lose, and their result is certainly less important than what they've already achieved, which is to make it into this tournament. As the guys were saying in the studio, just take this opportunity and take the moment in and have a story that you can tell your kids. Playing against Spain in Maracanã doesn't happen to everybody.
Look at Edson Lemer on the side. It hits Monreal. Sergio Ramos volleys it away. Great anticipation by Ludivion. Here's Mata. As we heard the boos when the Spaniards hold possession. They haven't lost the possession game in a match at all since Vicente del Bosque took this side under his wings after the European title they won in Vienna, Austria back in 2008. That's 71 straight matches. Mata, Silva. Cazorla was making a run down the middle. Silva could not get that ball as Raúl Albiol plays it on the side to Nacho Monreal. Only the second time again that Spain has played a team from Oceania Confederation. The only previous meeting against a team from OFC came in Rustenburg in South Africa back in 2009 for the Confederations Cup that saw Spain finishing third. Not a foul on David Villa. Azpilicueta gets it back for Spain. Javi Martinez. That time Fernando Torres scored a hat-trick on 17 minutes of the first half. As Spain beat New Zealand 5-0. Mata with a give and go for Torres. Goal for Spain, the kid. Spain leads it now. 5 minutes of play, 1-0.
And really a play that comes out of nothing from Spain. They hadn't really established a rhythm, but in a quick 1-2, Mata plays the ball to Fernando Torres. Not much of an angle to shoot for. Michael Rush anticipating that Fernando Torres is going to try to get the ball into David Villa in the middle. Gets caught leaning, and Fernando Torres scores, I wouldn't say a big goal for Spain, but certainly a goal that matters to Fernando Torres, given all the struggles that he's had, not only with Chelsea, but certainly with the national team over the last few months.
That's his 32nd career goal for the national team for Fernando Torres. Vairua could not keep it in Tahiti's possession. Nacho Monreal back again to get it. Torres' first goal for the national side since the European Cup final in Kiev against Italy. That was last year, back in July 1st of 2012. Throw in for Spain. Javi Martinez. Silva. Vairua trying to get it back for Tahiti. Santi Cazorla. Now David Silva playing on the left side. Monreal. Cazorla again. Mata dispossessed. It's Vairua. Ball is short. Stevie Xionghui. Beside for Ricky Aitamai. Edson Lemer. Cazorla gets it back. Mata. Over for Torres. Far post is Villa. Torres. As Roche puts a hand on that one. Boulevard tried to clear it. Sergio Ramos. Mata. First corner kick of the game for Spain.
And confident movement by Fernando Torres out wide, trying to fight David Villa. Michael Rush does well to get a hand of it. David Villa, if you're a single forward in the box, your responsibility is to get across the near post.
Great through ball by Cazorla, flicks it. Mata, but it lands on Roche. ESPNFC.com is your source for the FIFA Confederations Cup, with video previews, highlights, match recaps, and riders filing from Brazil. Plus, download the ESPNFC app for live video alerts of in-progress highlights. And coming August 11th on ESPN2, it's ESPN FC on TV 6 days a week. Softly landed on Pepe Reina. Ramos. Monreal. Over to Juan Mata. Silva. Losing the ball, Spain, Vairua. Goes past Cazorla. The one professional player in this squad. Won a league title in France back in 2000 while playing for Nantes.
And Vairua showing some personality, willing to take Azpilicueta on. Spanish defender takes him down and gives Tahiti an opportunity to push the lines forward and relieve some pressure.
Here's Vairua. That Nantes side had Michael Landreau, a former French national team goalkeeper, on their side. They were coached by Reynald Denouet, who went on to coach Real Sociedad in Spain, where he second place 3 seasons after that. His cousin Pascal Vairua also played in the national team of France. Born in Papete as Marama Vairua was born 33 years back. Edson Lemer with the throw-in. Also plays for AS Dragon. That team, along with FC Barcelona, are the two clubs in the world that provide the most players to Confederations Cup squads for this tournament. 10 players for Dragon on the Tahiti squad, 10 players for Barcelona. On the Spanish side, not counting Neymar yet, as he comes in as a Santos player for the Brazilian squad. Nicolas Valar. A foul by Shangwe, who scored that goal against New Caledonia that qualified Tahiti for this tournament. Once again, the back line pushing forward as Torres tries to break clear and over the crossbar. Goes Torres, look at Villa.
Yeah, David Villa is looking for the ball down the middle. But this sort of play tells you the story of the struggles of Fernando Torres. Between the years 2006, 2007, 2008, Fernando Torres, when he was playing at the highest level of confidence, there was absolutely no question that his execution in the final third was certainly very, very good. Not only for his club team with Liverpool at the time, but with the national team. Since then, confidence, injuries have all come together, and Fernando Torres hasn't been the same and has struggled with both club and country.
Monreal. Javi Martinez. Now questions asked why Sergio Ramos is in the lineup, having played against Uruguay in the opener. Vicente del Bosque brought only 2 center backs in his squad. As Villa is in the box. Danger for Tahiti. Villa looking down the middle for Torres. Cleared away by Tahiti as Vairua tries to start the break. Shangwe. As Piliqueta puts a body, brings Shangwe down. Nothing called by Jamir Halmouni from Algeria, the referee. Silva. Michael Roche having to come out of the box to clear the ball as Piliqueta. Mata. Silva now. Monreal and another corner kick for Spain.
Well played by Piliqueta, keeping Stevie Shangwe outside off the ball. Good defending from Piliqueta.
Albiol. It's about 40 yards between Albiol and Pepe Reina. As we take a look at the scenarios, Ramos with his ball goes out of bounds. Spain will qualify with a win and a Nigeria win or draw. Vicente del Bosque, winningest coach in the history of the Spanish national team. Tahiti will be eliminated with a loss and a Nigeria win or draw.
And so far, Tahiti well organized behind the ball. A 5-man back line. 4 midfielders right in front of them. Only Alvin Tejao in front of them. They have to be careful that they don't start falling deeper and deeper right on top of Michael Roche. If you allow Spain to get into a rhythm, then it becomes very difficult to stop. Spain's possession is predicated not only in the quality of passing, but the quality of movement on and off the ball, with and without the ball. When they get into a rhythm, they're not only difficult for Tahiti to stop, they're difficult for anybody in the world to stop.
And in question before the match, Alejandro, is how much is Spain in danger of losing respect to the game and their opponents this afternoon by undermining their capacity and pretty much just starting to play that side-to-side passing game?
Well, I think Spain has to be very careful in terms of not only their respect to the game, but the fact that they have to maintain a rhythm going forward. Spain didn't come to Brazil to beat Tahiti. They came to Brazil to win the Confederations Cup. And in order for them to maintain a high level of execution, then you have to push yourself. Perhaps not realistic at times against Tahiti, but they have to be able to execute as they have done in the past.
Especially here in a stadium as Maracanã is so revered, where Jogo Bonito became a norm. Spain comes in having to pay respect to the stadium as well as a style of play that they so often display.
Well, and as many of the other players and coaches that we've referenced in the past and coming to playing in Maracanã, we talked about Pirlo, we talked about Cesare Prandelli, we talked about Chepo de la Torre in the Italy-Mexico game. Again, the Spanish players mentioned the importance and what it meant to them to play in Maracanã. This is a hallowed ground of soccer, and for anybody who's grown to love this game, Maracanã is certainly a very meaningful place.
Xavi said so, that to play in Maracanã is definitely one of the highlights of his career. Certainly practice here. We'll see if he plays in as a substitute for Del Bosque. Torres and his cross, well met in the back by Tevari Lubidion. We've mentioned this team of Tahiti having only one professional in their squad. Many of their 23 players, except for Vairua, the lone professional, have other jobs. Tevari Lubidion is an alpinist of some sort, doing high altitude jobs that have him leaving his house at 4:30 in the morning and coming back down to Papete as Pilicueta's cross. Well done by Roche. Lubidion having to come back down to Papete to practice with his teammates at 5 p.m.
And good interchange with Azpilicueta, gets to the end line, tries to fight Fernando Torres, making the run to the near post. Michael Roche gets to the ball first, and Fernando Torres steps on his hand. Well done by Michael Roche in coming off his line. Quick off his line, reacting well to the cross, and stopping Fernando Torres from scoring his second goal of the game.
He was looking for the ball, not intended to step on the right hand of Michael Roche, a teacher. Again, plays at AS Dragon. He says sometimes, as with most of the clubs, they will get their salaries paid out in groceries. Played at Monaco reserves and then amateur football in Marseille in France. He was once the starter of the Tahiti national team until Xavier Saman took over after the first two matches of the Nations Cup that took them here. One that saw a run of 4 straight wins by Tahiti. Only the second time in their history that they've been able to achieve a streak that long.
Fernando, it's easy to look at the glaring disparities between Tahiti and not only Spain, but the rest of the teams in this competition. We've talked about Vairua being the one professional soccer player for Tahiti. The average attendance in the Tahitian league is about 100 people. There's everything in this squad: students, teachers, delivery guys, even unemployed. And yet, Tahiti, Iron Warriors, they're here and they're taking the experience in. They're enjoying themselves. This is a dream and a once-in-a-lifetime experience for these players.
Michael Roche with the long ball. We see the comparison in the FIFA rankings that we mentioned before. Two teams that would dislike any comparison being made between them. As David Villa looks for the ball. Silva with Torres, the lone man in the box, now being joined by Juan Mata. Santi Cazorla trying to play it over for Mata. And foul on Marama Bairua. But it has to be said, you know, as far as any comparison between them would be tasteless, it's inevitable.
Yeah, there's no comparison on any level.
Just to put it in context, you know, their football in history. Tahiti has 215 games in its national team's history. Spain, 621, and they played their 215th game back in 1975. Just a population comparison is one to start off with. Tahiti loses it again. Monreal back to Sergio Ramos. 178,000 population. Tahiti is about the size of Brownsville, Texas.
Have you been to Brownsville, Texas?
I have been to Brownsville, Texas.
How is it?
Hot. Cazorla. The cross by Aspilicueta. Well done again by Roche to meet that one. Aitamai. Fouled. Boulevard. Or was it Steven Chonghui fouled in the middle by Javi Martinez?
Good clearance by Michael Roche again. Aspilicueta getting down the right-hand side where he found some space. But I have to say, coming into this game, some of the numbers that were being thrown around in terms of the amount of goals that Spain was going to score, Tahiti has done quite well for themselves in this first 23 minutes of the game.
Here's Mata. Not being able to get it past the middle of the field where Boulevard was doing well to mark that ball. Tevari Ludivion. Boulevard again. Has to be said again, it's against Spain. It's so hard to get long possessions going. You don't see the ball that often. Doesn't matter whether you're Tahiti or any other team in the world of football.
Well, if you think about their first game against Uruguay, where they completed 871 passes out of 957 attempts, 91% accuracy, completed 449 passes in the first half against Uruguay to the 68 passes that Uruguay completed.
Silva, Mata to bring it down, but behind. Villa Torres shot right straight into Michael Roche's hands. 24th minute of play, 1-0. The lone Fernando Torres goal is the difference. Aitamai stumbles and gives the ball away to Mata. Now Sergio Ramos pushing it forward for Cazorla. Villa. Mata again. Silva. Monreal. Silva. Javi Martinez cannot get Chonghui. Tahiti goes on a breakaway. Raúl Albiol puts it is raised up. That's the call by Jamel Khalmoudi. A foul on Xionghui.
And the people in the stadium Maracanã appreciate the effort by Stevie Xionghui. Daring, commitment to get forward, endeavor, taking a chance, perhaps a soft foul. But if you're supporting Tahiti, and even if you're not, you have to appreciate the character and the personality that Tahiti is showing early in this game.
Marama Vairua ready to take it. Only his second international appearance for Tahiti. The man from Pantrakikos in Greece. Vairua straight into the wall. Boulevard collecting it again for Tahiti. Over on the side is Edson Lemer. Looking to cross it. His cross goes out of bounds. ESPN's exclusive coverage of the FIFA Confederations Cup continues later today at 5:30 Eastern. Nigeria take on Uruguay, who look to bounce back from their opening loss to Spain. The 2013 FIFA Confederations Cup is live on ESPN2, ESPN3, and Watch ESPN. The tournament also continues Saturday at 2:30 Eastern as Japan take on Mexico. That game on ESPN News. Brought down was Xionghui. Cazorla. Tahiti doing a nice job of just closing down the space in the middle of the field, forcing Spain to play this kind of long passes.
Yeah, as they keep the field very compact, they have frustrated Spain into playing passes that not only Spain doesn't want to play, but it's unable to complete the passes, as Tahiti again is pushing that high line of 5 players, and then the 4 midfielders in front of them, making it very difficult for Spain to complete passes out of the middle of midfield.
How important is this tournament back in the French Polynesian island? On Monday, when the team played Nigeria, the president suspended a cabinet meeting to watch the game. Definitely nobody doing anything else in Tahiti at this point than watching their beloved Iron Warriors. Monreal. His pass goes nowhere. Azpilicueta going back inside now for Cazorla. Javi Martinez. Back to the $52 million man from Bayern Munich. Villa.
And so far, that's where things are breaking down for Spain. They get into a spot on the field where now Tahiti has a lot of numbers behind the ball. The passes from Spain haven't been as sharp and crisp as we're used to, and things are breaking down for Spain. They're not able to create the chances that you would have expected against this Tahitian team.
Here's Torres. Fouled by Captain Nicolas Valar. And a free kick for Spain.
Seemed like a soft foul there by Nicolas Valar on Fernando Torres.
Sergio Ramos scored on a header against France in March. The last headed goal by Spain as Albiol tries to bring it back down. Knocked out by Jonathan Tejao, who certainly knows that play very well. Tahiti scored on a similar play against Nigeria with Jonathan Tejao, the history maker on that one. Cazorla again. Cleared away by Boulevard. The shot by Mata. Vairua, too long. Taken away as Mata was pressuring Silva. Now back for Nacho Monreal. And Spain will start all over. Villa onside. 2 options. Near post for Mata. Flicks it over for Cazorla. Roche, as Torres goes down in the box. Nothing called. Tahiti clears it. Play on, says the referee. Shenhui. Vairua. Out to the other side with Aitamai. Alvin Tejao looking for it. The frustration on Vairua as he knows they can do better than what Ricky Aitamai just did. They're not going to get that many breakaway chances. As Torres breaks away from the offside trap. Torres down the middle. Too short and soft for David Villa.
And as Tahiti plays that high line, it's a matter of whether Spain can time those runs and where the passes can be delivered. And as they're able to break through that offside trap, then obviously Tahiti is going to be exposed. Lack of execution by Fernando Torres, unable to find David Villa in the middle for a very clear opportunity for Spain.
And you can certainly sense, Alejandro, that because of who they're facing, their virtues are not going to be as appreciated as their mistakes will be magnified.
Yeah.
Villa. Turns around, Villa. Looking for the shot. Great ball for Silva. The second one, goal. Goal! David Silva. 2-0.
And you talked about the virtues of Spain. And as David Villa cuts in, you're thinking he's going to take a shot. He's trying to set it up. He picks out David Silva. Good run by Silva in behind the Tahitian defenders. Good first touch. Gets it off his feet. And a good finish to the far post. Nothing that Michael Rush can do about this. And it simply becomes a question of quality. And in attack, Spain has plenty of that.
Been almost a year since David Silva last scored for the Spanish national side. That goal also, as Fernando Torres' last goal, came in the European Cup of last year. Silva scoring in the 4-0 win against Ireland. Bairua waiting for it. Salviol clears the ball. Going back to that point, this game can hurt a player's chances more than it can help him.
Yeah, Fernando, I think point well taken. And the issue is, and I think what people must understand, that even if you do well in this game and you score a bunch of goals, people will say it was against Tahiti.
Here's Torres. Torres, his second one. Goal! Goal! Fernando Torres. It's 3-0.
And again, it's that high line. We just talked about it. It's one thing to keep the field compact, but when you have such a high line with skillful passes out of the middle, then now all of a sudden, if you time the pass right and you time the run right, and now a little bit of quality by Fernando Torres in the finish. Nice touch over Michael Rush, and the simplest of finishes in the end by Fernando Torres, but it comes from the run, the timing on the run, and the timing of the pass.
As Fernando Torres joins Telmo Zarra as the only Spaniards ever to score 2 goals in the history of the national team while playing at Maracanã. Zarra scored against Chile and against England. A memorable game for the Spanish national team back in the World Cup in 1950. As Tahiti will have a corner kick. That will be their first of the match. And Torres now with a clear shot of becoming only the 6th player to score a hat-trick on a national team game played at Maracanã. Crowd in the near post is the Polynesian side. As Jonathan Tejao breaks loose on the far post. Alvin Tejao, his brother headed that one. Be a goal kick for Spain. Looked as if went off of Javi Martinez.
This ball could have gone anywhere as Javi Martinez trying to clear it. Fortunate that it goes out of bounds.
Should have been another corner kick for Tahiti. That one going off the former Athletic Bilbao midfielder Javi Martinez. Well, center back with Marcelo Bielsa most of that historic season that made, or that had Athletic Bilbao reaching 2 finals, the Copa del Rey final and the Europa League final. Both of them losses for the Marcelo Bielsa side.
And in a recent interview, Javi Martinez spoke very highly of Marcelo Bielsa, saying that every player should get an opportunity to be coached by Marcelo Bielsa at one point in their career. High praise by Javi Martinez.
Cazorla. Azpilicueta. Santi Cazorla again. Javi Martinez. Monreal. Mata. Villa. Playing it long. Out comes Michael Roche. 36 minutes gone by, 3-0. 2 goals scored by Fernando Torres, the other one by David Silva. A foul on or committed by Alvin Tejao. He's got his brother Jonathan Tejao in the starting lineup, his twin brother Lorenzo on the bench, and his cousin also on the bench, as they've made it a family affair. Azpilicueta, his cross, Villa brings it down, Villa, his shot! Touches the outside of the net. Goal kick for Tahiti.
And again, Azpilicueta down the right-hand side. He's done this throughout the course of the first half. David Villa does very well in taking his first touch. And here he's thinking money in the bank. And unable to put it on target. Missed opportunity for David Villa, who you know wants to get on the score sheet.
As we saw a quick look at Gerard Piqué on the bench, one of 6 players who had some of their possessions stolen, as was confirmed by FIFA not too long ago, in their hotel rooms in Recife while they were playing Uruguay on Sunday. Alvin Tejao flicking it over. Lemaire looking for it. David Silva comes out with the ball. Albiol to Javi Martinez, who came over to Bayern Munich last summer. David Silva, 3 options. Villa, Villa! Goal for David Villa. 4-0 for Spain.
Well, stop me if I said this again or before. The high line for Tahiti allows from runs out of the midfield that if they're timed correctly, in this case by David Silva, you find yourself in a 3v1 situation. Good touch initially by David Villa, allows Michael Roche to go down and finishes to the empty net. And now it's a matter of how much Spain would want to push this game.
The all-time leading scorer in the history of the Spanish national side now takes his total to 54 career national team goals for him. Cazorla pushing it forward again. Monreal, far post. That one too short. Aslu Divion plays it over to Bairua. Goes down the middle on Javi Martinez. Could not find Steve Chonwe.
And Fernando, reality has set in after a lot of huff and puff by Tahiti to start the game. A lot of commitment and fight and trying to get the most out of this game. Now it's just a question of quality and execution. And when you allow a team like Spain spacing behind where they can run into and time the passes and time the runs, they're going to hurt you. They've done so over the last 10 minutes.
Cazorla. Spain remains with the same tempo they started the match with. Their will to increase the scoring is going to be put at test now. As Vicente del Bosque said it in the press conference before the match, it's not a matter of playing to satisfy the people's or the public perception, if you wish. It's Fernando Torres. It's cut offsides. It's a matter of not looking at the scoreboard and playing the game with the professionalism that the game demands because of where you're playing.
And that's all good and well in saying it to the press, and that's the right thing to say. But as the game goes on and Spain continues to push the issue and force the issue, and goals will undoubtedly come, it's only human nature in many ways to just relax on the ball, allow this to become an exercise in possession. And even though it's not Spain's job to be aware of Tahiti's feelings, it is also an act of class if Spain, in my opinion, recognizes the moment and allows them their soccer to do the talking in a respectful manner.
Mata. Monreal. All too long. A team whose highest ever FIFA World Ranking was 111th back in August of 2002. It is their first appearance at a senior FIFA tournament, but they did make an appearance at the U20 World Cup in Egypt back in 2009. They were eliminated after the group stage. 3 defeats, no goals scored, and 21 goals conceded for that Tahitian side that started off playing against Spain, losing against them 8-0. Same scoreline against Venezuela in the second match, and they finished off playing Nigeria. The best result of that tournament for them was a 5-0 defeat.
Did you just mention Venezuela?
I just did, yes.
Thank you.
Salo Rondon scoring a hat-trick on that second match. For La Young Vino Tinto, Mata's pass for Fernando Torres as he wants to get the hat-trick over with before the end of the half. Javi Martinez. As we heard Steve McManaman mentioning the treble he just won with Bayern Munich. Came over last summer, said he was talking to Claudio Pizarro when he just joined the club. The Peruvian forward told him, hey, made a great decision, we're going to win it all this year. And he said, what? This guy they just lost it all last season, but they did win it all with Jupp Heynckes. Now Pep Guardiola is set to come in to coach him next season. There is Martinez crossing the ball over to Azpilicueta. Cazorla. It's Tahiti trying to crowd the middle of the field. Silva. Palar clears it. Chonwe. As well to provide Santi Cazorla, as he is going to get yellow carded for dissent. Something the crowd appreciates.
This is the sort of thing that if you're Spain, you have to avoid. Yes, maybe a soft foul. Chong Hui does well. And knowing that Cazorla is coming in behind, essentially drawing the foul. Well, what's the point of Santi Cazorla going crazy in a game against Tahiti that you're already winning 4-0?
Here's Vairua. Opens up play for Aitamai. It's Cruz. As dangerous a play as Pepe Reina has seen so far in the game, as 1 minute has been added on to the first half. David Silva waiting for the ball was Vina. He brings it down with some sort of class, but he was offsides.
Now Eddie Etaeta the coach for Tahiti, has to make sure that they address this high line that Tahiti's playing. Yes, they've gotten a few offside positions, but if you time it right, such as in this play, it creates danger.
Villa. Mata! It's his left-footed volley goes over the crossbar. Not gaining any love from the crowd is Spain as they try to build the score up. First half comes to an end. 2 by Torres, 1 by Silva, the other one by David Villa. Has a 4-0 scoreline for Spain. As we go back to our Confederations Cup headquarters with Bob Lee.
Thank you, Fernando and Alejandro. And so it's 4-0 at the half. In the London betting parlors, the even money bet. All of it's quite legal there. Why the chuckle?
I can vouch for that, Bob.
Right, because you got us this information. The even money bet. So essentially, if I translate from Ladbrokes to the NFL, the over-under is 8 goals. So we're halfway there. Interesting, though, with the 4 goals and 1 long injury, only 1 minute added on. What's been proven here in the first half?
Everyone's talking about the high line of Tahiti. I actually like that. I like the fact that Edeata said, you know what, I'm not going to go with the pragmatic. I'm not going to go with the traditional. I'm not going to go with the easy. If we're going to go out, we're going to go out playing. We talk so much in this game about parking the bus and this defensive shell that teams go into. He didn't do that, and his team didn't do it. And that I think that there is credit in not doing that.
They parked the canoe, by the way.
No, not in this half.
No.
As everybody knows, I'm a big Spanish fan, but I've been really disappointed by them in the first half. I thought they were slow, lethargic. Yes, the game's easy. Yes, they're always going to win, but they have to put pressure on the first team. The first team played the other day, and I thought, the likes of Cazorla, Mata, Silva, I've never seen them give the ball away as much as I've seen them today, and I've been not impressed by them at all. And I think Vicente Del Bosque will have a few words to say.
It is, yes, the B team, but again, over 120 international goals out there with 10 changes made from the first 11 that Spain used for the opener. Fernando Torres starting the scoring in the 5th minute. Spain convincingly on the score sheet, but artistically not so.
As we come back with Alejandro Moreno, Fernando Palomo, Fernando Torres, scorer of 2 in this 4-0 scoreline. The 6th time it's happened in Confederations Cup history that a team has scored 4 goals at the break. Last time it happened when Spain beat New Zealand 5-0 in the last Confederations Cup in South Africa. So we take a look at Eddie Etatia, the head coach of Tahiti. Jesus Navas coming in the second half for Spain. We await confirmation on who leaves the field. Sergio Ramos leaves the field, and Spain will play with 3 men in the back. So we kick off here in the second half. Spain 4, Tahiti nothing. It said so before. Ramos the only one repeating from that lineup that Vicente del Bosque had against Nigeria. Here's Navas. First cross of the match. We'll see a lot of the new Manchester City crossing goals. Fernando Torres being the captain now on the Spanish side as Ramos leaves the field. David Silva will take the free kick after that handball.
No question, an attacking substitution by Spain. Clearly now you go with 3 in the back, and Jesus now will provide you then with an option down the flank where he's an open back guy that will look to put service into the box for Fernando Torres as well as David Villa.
Monreal. Santi Cazorla now. Silva. Cazorla for Mata. Looking for David Villa, who seemed to be playing in an offside position. Marama Bairua. Aitamai back for Jonathan Tejao. Spain will advance with a win this afternoon, and a Nigeria win or draw. Nigeria will play Uruguay later on ESPN 2, and Tahiti will be eliminated with a loss and a Nigeria win or draw. Those are the scenarios as we approach the semi-final stages of this Confederations Cup, a title that Spain has yet to win. They lost in the semi-finals against the United States in South Africa 4 years ago. Navas doing well to keep it in play. Silva. Villa. Back to Mata. Villa. Villa in the 6-yard box is cleared away by Caron. Mata finds it again. Monreal with a run. Villa goal. Goal for Spain. David Villa. That's his second of the game. 5-0.
And it's a late run, overlapping run by Nacho Monreal. Once David Villa was denied the cross as this play developed, then Nacho Monreal realizes where the space is going to be. Villa gets back into an attacking position in the middle of the box, and a simple finish in the end. Unfortunate for Michael Rush as the ball goes in between his legs. For Spain, this will be, as we have mentioned in the past, a test of their professionalism and their discipline. Certainly Spain gets more work done playing an inner squad during training sessions, but regardless, they must execute at their expected level. This game is very much a training session on the way to a potential championship, and as with any session, it would only be as good as the players make it, given their commitment, level of interest, and overall performance.
Going back to Vicente del Bosque's words on the press conference, he's not setting a limit on how much their players can score this afternoon. I will ask them not to look at the scoreboard once again and respect the opponent, but mostly their profession.
And we talked to we heard the guys at halftime talking about how Spain hasn't been nearly as sharp and as crisp as we're used to. Their passing hasn't been good enough in terms of what we come to expect from Spain. And so in this second half, if Spain really gets a hold of the ball and pick up the pace of their passing and their movement, then you certainly would expect Spain to create more opportunities, more chances, and more goals will come.
ESPNFC.com is your source for the FIFA Confederations Cup with video previews, highlights, match recaps, and writers filing from Brazil. Just download the ESPNFC app for live video alerts of in-progress highlights. Also coming on August 11th on ESPN2, it's ESPNFC on TV. That will be on 6 days a week. Michael Roche taking his time. Looking upfield for Alvin Tejao. Monreal for Villa. Ricky Aitamay collecting. Bairua. All the way through Pepe Reina. I don't know if we'll get a chance to see it this afternoon, but Bairua has a signature goal celebration. It drops down to one knee and mimics a Tahitian canoer. Navas. What are the odds of us seeing that against Spain? Tejao, made by Javi Martinez in the middle of the field. Cazorla over to Mata. Villa outside.
Fernando, for Tahiti, the feeling when playing Spain in an official FIFA tournament has to be similar to what teams felt playing the original Dream Team. Had to be. This game has such a similar feeling as to what Angola against that original Dream Team was in 1992 in Barcelona.
The one ever. The one and only Dream Team in history, right?
Well, some would argue, but the original Dream Team.
Alvin Tejao gives way for his cousin. They knew Tejao to come in.
And in those games, or those games became more of an exhibition where opponents play the part of invited guests with the best seats in the house. And with all due respect to Tahiti, you must feel as if this is an opportunity that won't present itself again. And again, as we said before, you have to enjoy it and take it in for what it is.
Raúl Albiol, his clearance finds Bairua. Here's the cross. Albiol clears it. Silva over for Navas. Villa waits it. Torres, his shot. Parried away by Tejao, Jonathan Tejao. Was well defined. Ricky Aitamay on the side. Burevar. Lemer, Burevar again. Well, to hold possession is Tahiti now as Marama Bairua finds himself with some space. His cross. Tejao. The ball is taken away by Cesar Azpilicueta. Silva. Villa. The run by Fernando Torres as Mates up the middle. Puts a body. Torres does. Mata. Torres again. Back for Villa. His shot. As the summer transfer window is about to be officially open on July 1st. There's many questions as well on the future of most of the Spanish players and where they will play their club football next season. Vicente del Bosque playing two upfield that certainly have question marks on their names. as whether David Villa will remain in Barcelona with Neymar signing for the Blaugranas, and with Jose Mourinho coming in at Chelsea for a second stint as head coach. Will Fernando Torres remain a Blue next season?
And I think it's unlikely on both of those.
Albiol. Spilicueta. Spilicueta coming in for Alvaro Arbeloa on the right side of the fence. He brings it down. If there's any question marks as well on the Spanish side, is that right side with Arbeloa. Some say not providing to the fluidity of play, because mostly considered a defenseman by heart, not a big-time passer, as Spain plays that long possession game. With Spilicueta coming over, great pass, got behind Stevie Shonque. Spilicueta coming back, and then we see the generation that just won the under-21 European Championship for Spain, with Montoya playing there. Great pass by Silva. Navas, Torres, goal! Goal! Spain makes it 6-0. Torres with a hat-trick.
And the reason you bring Jesus Nava onto the field, because he provides you this outside or inside runs, picks up his head, finds the pass to Fernando Torres, who's trailing the play. Clean finish by Fernando Torres, and confidence continues to build for El Niño, Fernando Torres.
As Torres becomes the first player in Spain's national team's history to score 3 career hat-tricks. The second one in a Confederations Cup match. 6-0, and a history-making hat-trick as well for Torres, as he becomes the first non-Brazilian to score a hat-trick at Maracanã. Great ball, but offside. Offside was Tenui Tejao. Ademir Pelé on 2 occasions, actually on 3 occasions. Tostao Zico, who's actually in the stands this afternoon, and Romario, the only players in the history of this sacred football ground to score a hat-trick, before Fernando Torres adds his name to that illustrious list.
You could do a few things with those players on the field.
Romario, the last one to do so back in 2000. Silva. Mata. Santi Cazorla. Only the second time in Confederations Cup history that this scoreline has been reached, as Navas does well to go over. Silva. The ball found Silva not well positioned as David Villa commits the foul.
Pairua does very well in just drawing the foul. And here again, Jesus Nava, head up, knows who he wants to play the ball to, but this pass is lacking just a little bit of quality in execution by Jesus Nava.
Martinez. Throwing for Tahiti. Nation that played its first ever international match back in September of 1952. Playing New Zealand. Had only played teams from its confederation up until 1980, when they faced Mexico in a friendly at at the Olympic Stadium in Mexico City, losing 1-0. Mata. Villa was the only game ever played outside of their confederation before they played Nigeria and now Spain in the Confederations Cup. Bairua. Javi Martinez, his passes. Well kicked by Tahiti. Back for Edson Lemer. As the sounds of Ole come softly from the stands down onto the field to try to get the Tahitians back into the match. Back into some possession into the match, I should say. Bairua. Reacting to it is Javi Martinez. Once again, the high line of defense causing the offside trap, making David Villa bite on it.
If nothing else, when it comes to Tahiti, and certainly this player Bairua has shown fight and commitment and endeavor, and certainly they've come here to compete. But the differences are just too great between these two soccer teams.
Cazorla. Mata back for Santi Cazorla. Great first season he had at Arsenal after leaving Malaga last year. Mata. Azpilicueta. Silva. Cazorla. Spain now playing with 7 players who play their club football in the Premier League in England. Navas will join them, will join that Spanish Legion next year. He was signed by Manchester City. Cazorla, onside, Villa! Villa! And the easiest goal he's ever scored with the national team is now the 7-0 for Spain. And a hat-trick as well for Villa. And that's a first for this historic Maracana, and a great gesture by Torres. First time 2 players score a hat-trick. A game between national teams.
Well-timed run by David Villa. Michael Rush reads the play well, comes out in plenty of time, unable to get a hold of the ball. And as you said, Fernando, as easy as it gets for David Villa.
His 6th goal in 7 Confederations Cup matches for El Guaje as Mata gathers that ball again. Now Spain looking for a goal that would make it the highest ever scoreline in a Confederations Cup match. Actually, it is already the highest scoreline in a 7-goal difference, but the most goals scored by one team in a single game was between Brazil and Saudi Arabia, 8-2. As Pepe Reina keeps it away from Xionghui. That 8-2 was actually the semifinal in that tournament held in Mexico. Now we're looking at another stat. Who will become the 10th Spanish player to score more than 3 goals in one match? Mata. Goal! Goal! Spain 8-0. Juan Mata. 20th minute of the second half.
And I think, Fernando, that's the key. You just said it. 20th minute of the second half. 25 more minutes to go. And at this point, it's whether Spain will continue to push, or will they be just content with possession? Right now, Tahiti, no answers, a lot of effort, a lot of attitude, simply not enough quality.
Spain replicating the scoreline of that U20 meeting between these two nations back in 2009 in Egypt. It's across, another Pepe Reina save. Now looking at the largest goal difference in a senior FIFA tournament. 9 goals, and that's been done 3 times, but at World Cups. The last time it reached 9-goal difference was back in 1982, when Hungary beat El Salvador 10-1.
Should I say something about that?
You're doing well by remaining quiet on that. Navas.
Should remind viewers that you are from El Salvador.
Azpilicueta. Cesc Fabregas comes in for Spain. Cazorla. Vicente del Bosque definitely not looking at that fine line between going all out and trying to keep the scoreline short. That by now is not.
Yeah, I think, I mean, at 8-0, if you're Spain, you're in a very difficult situation, because you can make the argument that it's far more humiliating to just hold the ball and have Tahiti run side to side. Perhaps more disrespectful not to take advantage of the spaces that are there for you to take advantage of.
The shot by Cazorla. Michael Roche punches it away. David Villa holding it. Cazorla almost taken by Bayrou as a free kick is now called for Spain.
You know, we heard the guys at halftime talking about whether, I think it was a good point made by Maka regarding that these guys that are now on the field for Spain are competing for positions against the likes of Xavi, Iniesta, and Busquets. But I don't believe that this is a game that would be a barometer for them to really make a case for themselves. The likes of Mata or David Silva, Cazorla. As you said very well in the first half, at times, playing in games like this, you don't have anything to gain if you're Spain, and certainly players on the field currently for Spain.
Villa! Roche to save it! Gets the greeting of the crowd. Well done by Michael Roche. Cazorla looking for the score. Roche again. Villa. Villa looking for Jesus Navas, who was making a run. Javi Martinez tracks back. Pepe Reina. Cazorla. Fabregas. Xavi had a Interesting interview with the Spanish newspaper El País, published today. Speaks highly of Cesc Fabregas and his style of play. Calls him an anarchist on the field. Is to be open with no specific position given to him.
I suppose there are better ways to describe that than calling anybody an anarchist.
Fabregas, Silva. The shot bounces off of Valar. Definitely what Xavi means is to just give him freedom.
I hear you. I hear you.
Let him do on the field what he knows what to do on the field, and look at positioning without having any particular respect for a job description, if you wish to say it, on a particular position.
I understand, Fernando.
Xavi continues, it's not as comfortable as talking about Fabregas playing on one particular spot on the field. Navas goes away with Tejao. Cazorla looking for Torres. 18 minutes to go. Silva intercepts.
And to your point, Fernando, regarding Cesc Fabregas, really Spain, the success of this group in terms of possession and creativity depends very much in terms of what their player rotation is, player interchange, movement with and without the ball. When Spain has that freedom in terms of their movement, as they progress forward in attack, they're a very difficult side to stop. And certainly, as they build a rhythm with short passes, with movement, it's a team that certainly, there's no question that they're the best in the world. Now, the question for them will be, can they provide that same sort of possession and that same sort of performance against teams that are well organized behind the ball and make it difficult and frustrating for them in terms of their possession and in terms of creating chances?
Last substitution for Eddie Etatia's Tahiti side. Edson Lemaire will come out and Yannick Viro onto the field. Yannick Viro, 23-year-old delivery man who plays for AS Dragon. Two-time defending champion of the Tahitian League. Navas. Once again, Tahiti with only one professional in their squad. The rest have other jobs. One is a mobile phone salesman, an alpinist, delivery man, teachers, soccer coaches. The Tahitian Football Association had for the past 2 months paid the salaries for those players to become full-time national team players. They come to South America 10 days before the start of the tournament, playing and practicing in Chile. It's a measure of respect and gratitude for what they did, qualifying for the Confederations Cup. As Navas is trying to look for a cross. They paid their business class fare to come over from Papeete in Tahiti over to South America.
And as we said many times, Fernando, for Tahiti, this is not about the result. This is more about what they achieved getting to this point and about the experience here in Confederations Cup.
15 minutes to go, and Andres Iniesta will get a chance to play at Maracanã. Spain looks to get another shot at playing at this stadium with Torres' header! Going just wide. That shot they're looking for is the final of the tournament. Santi Cazorla out. He had a yellow card. In comes Andres Iniesta, who admits of not having his best performance against Uruguay. That in a game in which Spain had close to 1,000 completed passes. 39 touches in their longest play. 21 fouls against. Silva. Navas looked like a handball in the edge of the box, and this matters can get worse. Tahiti commits the penalty.
Clearly a deflection of the defender's arm. Ricky Aitami. Penalty kick. I don't think the referee had any other option but to call it.
Fernando Torres looking for his fourth of the game. As Torres hits the crossbar. And a big miss for El Niño's confidence. 13 minutes to go. It's still 8-0 Spain. And a small victory of sorts for Michael Rush.
And really, this has been the story for Fernando Torres, as we spoke earlier in the game. There are times where he generates some momentum, some confidence, and then something happens that
Albiol comes out with it. As Torres now making a run. Will this be his chance to score 4? Torres. And that's 4. 9-0 for Spain. Fernando Torres scores 4 goals in 1 match. The 10th Spanish player to do so with the national team.
Well, I was going to say that something happens during the game that perhaps stops him from going back to who he was in his best days with Liverpool. Then he goes and scores the 4th goal, so there goes my point. Anytime you score 4 goals with your national team, or with any team for that matter, even if it is against Tahiti, it's an achievement. Good strong run in the end by Fernando Torres.
Now he joins Emilio Butragueño as the only ever Spanish players to score 4 goals in a final phase of a tournament. Butragueño did so back in Mexico 1986.
Was that against Denmark?
Yes, sir. Your guess is correct. She had to have guessed that one, right? Were you watching that game?
I was watching that game.
ESPN's coverage of Major League Soccer continues on Sunday at 5 Eastern with the game of the week. As league leading scorer Jack McInerney and the Philadelphia Union take on Thierry Henry and the Red Bulls. You can watch live on ESPN, ESPN3, and watch ESPN. Martinez. Iniesta. Be a goal kick for Tahiti. We talked about how Spain needed, in order to avoid, in the instance of a tie, to avoid any conflict with Nigeria, they needed to build up the scoreline, and this one, as a corner kick, is now given over for the Spaniards. Spain wins or qualifies today with a win, and a Nigeria win in their match against Uruguay. Tahiti eliminated by virtue of a loss today in a Nigeria win. As Valar clears it out, Bahirua drops down to do his job in clearing that ball again. Pepe Reina. Iniesta. The biggest win in the history of the Spaniard national side was back in 1933, when in the old Chamartín Stadium, the one that gave way to the Santiago Bernabeu, they beat Bulgaria 13-0. In an official match, their biggest win is a 12-1 thrashing of Malta back in December of 1983 in a European Cup qualifier. It's been 14 years, though, since they beat anybody by this scoreline, 9-0. They beat Austria, and only 70 days later, they beat San Marino 9-0. Foul ball at midfield on Bahirua. This is by 3 goals, the largest winning margin in Confederations Cup history. Eddie Etatia will not get a chance to see his favorite player on this Spanish side. The Tahitian coach voted, as all national team coaches do, for the highest individual award given by FIFA, the FIFA Player of the Year, the Ballon d'Or. He last year voted for Xavi to win it. As we all know, Messi got his 4th award, his 4th career award last year. Nicolas Valar, the captain, as well voted for Xavi, who will remain on the bench. Azpilicueta. Iniesta, Fabregas, and it can't be said now, Alejandro, that Spain have answered the question. They were really looking to play offensive football today and not just pass the ball side to side. Azpilicueta with the cross, and not just by looking at the scoreline, but by the way they have conducted themselves in this match.
Well, and for any team, if you have space to go forward and you have an opportunity to connect passes in attack, it's very difficult to keep any sort of possession without going forward. There are spaces there for Spain. They're very clear. The high line by Tahiti has allowed Spain to time their runs and time their passes in behind the back 5 of Tahiti. And so it's almost impossible for any team to not be able to connect passes in attack.
Here's Fernando Torres looking for a 10th one. Valar to clear it. Tahiti gives possession away. Fabregas. Or Torres, who cannot control it. Valar. Here comes Bahirua. The ball for Tejao in the box. As Monreal has a slight touch on Tejao, the referee tells him to keep on playing. ESPN's exclusive coverage of the FIFA Confederations Cup continues later today at 5:30 Eastern Nigeria take on Uruguay, who look to bounce back from their opening loss to Spain. The 2013 FIFA Confederations Cup is live on ESPN 2, ESPN 3, and watch ESPN. On the side, Navas. Gets it back, Navas, and his cross met by Roche. Pairua. Waiting for company on the side. That back heel finds Bayrou again. Vero. Jonathan Tejao. Too quick to let go of that one. The flag is raised. Villa offside.
And in a 9-0 game, I would say that Vairua has been one of the brightest spots, not only for Tahiti, but certainly in between both teams. Has shown a certain character and a certain temperament to his game, a fight, a commitment. He's here to compete. And has made sure that he gives a good account of himself. And certainly this Tahitian team has given no reason for us to, other than evaluate perhaps the lack of quality in the group. Their attitude has been correct. They've come here to play, they've come here to compete. But they've run into teams that certainly have a tremendous amount of quality. And when you're playing against the #1 team in the world, not much you can do about it.
Iniesta cannot find David Villa. Vairua plays it back. He's played throughout his professional career in France. Now doing so in Greece with Pantakrikos. Early 90s, he went and joined Nantes Youth Academy. Went on to play for Nice, Lorient, and Nancy. Played at Monaco while they were still playing in 2nd division. Jesus Navas. Going outside again. Torres. Silva. And it's 10. 10-0 for Spain. And this will be the largest winning margin in the history of an official senior FIFA match.
And it's a good turn by David Silva. Good finish to the far post, side netting to his favorite left foot. No chance for Michael Rush. And from the reaction of Silva, he finishes the play, and yet you look at his expression and you almost feel that he's uncomfortable scoring that goal.
The largest winning margin at a senior FIFA tournament. Now 10 goals by Spain over Tahiti. Silva with his 2nd one in the match. Well, the best soccer squad perhaps the world has ever seen. The Spanish side. Best collection of individual talent of this generation, that's for sure. Faced a team full of amateur players that certainly played with the heart of a lion. And that is something to tip your hat to. Navas looking for Villa. Navas the last to touch it.
And for Spain, I'm not sure what you get out of this game, really. It's a training session. Not much more than that. And as I said earlier, when it comes to training sessions, you get what you make of it. Some players were disappointing today. Cazorla wasn't very good. You get 4 goals from Fernando Torres. Is that something that perhaps catapults him into regaining his level of confidence?
Look at the way Villa just brought that ball down.
I'm not sure that any evaluation regarding this game has much value in terms of what Spain will do as this tournament progresses.
Martinez, met by Michael Roche. These are, if not the extreme opposites, they are in opposite side of the football spectrum. 137 positions in the world FIFA ranking separate them now. It's 10 goals that separate Spain and Tahiti. But they are united by the fact that they are the champions of their respective confederations. Offside, not meant to be for Tahiti to celebrate one goal here at Maracanã. It's the end of it. To recap it, Torres scores 4. Villa with a hat-trick. Silva with 2. It's 10-0 for Spain. For Alejandro Moreno, Fernando Paloma waving goodbye from Maracanã. Back to you, Bob.
Thank you, Fernando. Tahiti got here by beating New Caledonia, New Zealand finishing 3rd in the Oceania Cup. And that's what brought him here on this improbable journey that had some romance opening day. And for the first 20 or so minutes of this, and there is respect there, but they were playing the best team in the world. And it's the most decisive win in the history of a FIFA Senior Championship. Welcome back to our Confederations Cup headquarters. Steve McMenamin, Alexi Laws, Bob Lee. All right, so Spain, we can tell you that David Villa had 3 goals. Villa and Torres become the first Spaniards with 3 clear hat tricks. It's the second pair of teammates with a hat trick in the same game, the Confed Cup, since Ronaldo and Romario in 19. We can pile offensive stat
with some excitement.
Top of expensive. I mean, you know. Well, it's the best team in the world, and they broke a sweat. Did it mean anything
to them? It meant that they can go out and score goals and do patterns to goal, and they can break a high line. I don't think it ultimately means anything. I mean, you can't take much away from the Spanish performance.
It was a walkabout today.
It was a walkabout. Yes, they probably have harder training sessions, playing against each other, higher tempo. Yes, it meant something today. It meant something to the defenders. It meant something to Pepe Reina to keep a clean sheet. That was vitally important. He didn't want to concede like Nigeria conceded the other day. So a little bit to personal pride. Will it influence Vicente Del Bosque going forward? Did those players today do enough to get into the first team? I don't think so, no.
How do you prove yourself against the team?
Well, you don't to a certain extent, but I mean, Fernando Torres hasn't done himself any harm by scoring 4. But some of his play, some of his last passes to David Villa was very sloppy at times. But I think that's just because the game is so easy.
There's a chalk outline of the pitch at Maracanã, and let's take a look at it as Tahiti in the 5th minute, watching Fernando Torres. Tough angle here.
Yeah, well, we talked about it all day. Okay, this is just a mistake, but breaking that high line of defense just constantly throughout the game. Look how high Tahiti is. Boom, they're in. Fernando Torres, nice little chip to himself, and finishes it.
That was in the 33rd minute, 39th minute. David Silva into David Villa in the area here.
Yeah, again, as Lexi said, they're playing a very high line. There's 4 red shirts breaking forward. Nice ball by David Silva. And David Villa finishes it off, gets on the score sheet. And, you know, I was glad for him.
Nacho Monreal with the cross to David Villa here. Easy finish.
Patterns, we talk about patterns, overlaps, waiting, timing.
Nice, wasn't it? That was nice.
57th minute, Jesus Nava making a big money transfer and into Fernando Torres.
Yeah, it was a nice ball. He's done well.
Good finish.
Jesus Navas. Just give them Spain another little bit of an option, pace down the flanks. But I mean, you can't contemplate for this. We saw the first goal was a huge mistake. It's not even amateurish. It's schoolboy, and unfortunately for Michael Roche, does exactly the same there.
Yeah. And Torres.
Straight down the middle. After he missed his penalty, he comes straight down and dribbles Roche and finishes it off.
If you joined us along the way, we didn't show you the missed penalty. You didn't see.
You didn't see a lot of chances.
No. All right. Here's the group, though. And we talked about, look at that gaudy +11 for Spain. They are not yet through. If Nigeria at least draw against Uruguay, and again, we're coming along with that game at 5:30 Eastern time, Spain would then go through. A goal differential if the Uruguay win certainly could be important. Our next match is coming to you from Salvador, the third largest city in Brazil, Arena Fonte Nova, and so Uruguay, which Diego Forlan will be in the lineup. It'll be 3 up front today. A while for Uruguay to get it going in their opener, and they grabbed one late. What a souvenir to bring home from Brazil, a Spanish national game-worn jersey, and the respect and the admiration of Maracanã.